Okay, great rising, beautiful beings, great rising, beautiful natural beings. So I'm doing a short collaboration with a great person from afar. We only know each other through social media, but if you would like to introduce yourself, by all means, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I go by Edwin Manna. I had several different channels over the years since like around 2015. I had Edwin Manna and the Learning Channel. Everybody's familiar with that one. That was way back in this spiritual community shit. And then I had Edwin Manna Files and just different ones everybody know who was there. And then right now I currently got one called Jesus Christ. And no, I'm not Jesus Christ. But when I get downloads and shit and certain people's videos come across my feed and they talking about something I feel like that people should know, I just grab their stuff up and throw it on there. And so far, it's been stopping me from getting my channel took down and being able to get everybody who got something to say, including myself, information out there. So just because y'all might see different videos of people saying stuff that I wouldn't necessarily say don't mean I agree with everything either. But the core message is what I be trying to get out.
Okay. So we're gonna discuss the topic on empty seaters because I was speaking in the Vampire Illusion video that most of the time the people are weak. But you may claim, which makes a lot of sense, sometimes they're not weak, they're just easily manipulated and reprogrammable. So certain vessels don't have a soul. They may have some type of enemy or spirit, but they don't have consciousness like a natural born person. And when they don't have consciousness like a natural born person, they can be manipulated and programmed by frequencies.
Yep.
So can you elaborate a little bit on that part about they're not really weak, they're just empty seaters?
Okay, sometimes when we be born in this world, we're assigned to a family, and the people around us in the community are also assigned to us, or we're just simply assigned to that environment. So just like anybody who's familiar with the Transformers, whether it be the cartoons from back in the day in the 80s or even the new movies that they created over the years, the Decepticons was a concept of these beings that would be related to the demiurge. The demiurge, what is that? That's like a dark consciousness that's powered by artificial intelligence or anything that's dark and vampiric in general. So the Decepticons was always looking for those who had the spark. So what is that? How does that relate to what we talking about? So when you get assigned to these people, you may be the only one who has the spark. And what is the spark? It's basically like the source energy that comes from outside of this realm that we currently in.
Mm-hmm.
So we get our information and our DNA presence from outside of this shit. But there's other people walking around, a large amount of them, who get their shit from here.
Right, they just piggyback off of everything that was already here. They have no connectedness.
Yep. So whenever the media displays any type of media, like through radio, television, any type of news, hell, it don't even have to be broadcasted. It can just be in the air floating around, and they can connect to it just like a radio or any type of receiver, and that gives them the instructions on how they supposed to live. And sometimes when we dealing with these people, we wake the fuck up at some point in time in our life, and then we start questioning things and talking about certain things with these people that we believe are supposed to be close to us, and they either try to sweep it under the rug, shoo us away, or whatever they try to do. And even if we was getting along with them, all of a sudden they eventually stop being in our life, and then we got to go our separate ways and stuff. And the topic comes up is sometimes some people believe that these people are just weak, and that's true. Some of them are, but not all of them. Some of them are just a program. That's it.
Right.
That's all they are. And whoever controls the program, just like in that movie, The Wizard of, I think it's The Wizard of Oz. It had Dorothy in it and shit like that. There was a wizard behind the curtain. And currently in this place that we in, on this earth realm, this place isn't positive or negative, it just is. And whoever took over, obviously, is darkness. So they are the ones who behind the curtain currently. And they had to come here. Everybody who's familiar with the Anunnaki story, whether that happened or not, the way they said it happened, something similar to that happened, whether it was that or not, where they took a group of people, different races, and they did something to them. They remixed them, changed them around,
manipulated their DNA, manipulated their consciousness. Mm-hmm.
So they won't be able to be born with that spark.
Right.
So then they'll be able to have a larger influence over the population and how they want this motherfucking plantation to go in their favor. Because if everybody had the spark, then police wouldn't be how they are. There wouldn't be no instances of police brutality, war. People wouldn't just join a fucking military and just be over there doing fuck shit. Right. They'll all think these things that we come to conclusions of after these said events happen. They'll already be equipped with that knowing before they even decide to sign up for some shit like that. Poverty, ghettos and hoods and stuff that's being maintained to have poverty. People would just get along with each other because they see the bigger picture of what's going on. These are different receipts that can let you know that these people out here are just programmed. Because people with the spark, we can be in all these different little situations and somehow we see the general overview of what's going on and it makes us behave and move and maneuver a certain kind of way, which shows people, even ourselves, what's something different about us. Mm-hmm. And the best way we can try to reference that is different little shows and things they showed us on television, just like the Transformers, they was looking for the spark. The old cartoon of Transformers, they was looking for something called Energon. That goes back to the source energy, which is the spark. So that's what makes these people empty seeders. Empty. They can be empty seeders, like how you saying it, like no seed, or empty seaters, like nobody's home. Mm-hmm. So they could be easily opened up, and an entity could come in and operate them, or the frequencies that's in the air operate them with their animated consciousness.
I've been saying it over and over and over about one part where I'd be like, the voting system, right? So you got all these people voting, but what if they don't have the seed of God? What if they don't have the seed of creation in them? What if they're just empty seeders that can be manipulated and controlled by demons, angels, anybody that want to house or enshrine that vessel, right? And I say, how are they able to pass all these laws so urgently, but you got to wait every 8 years, every 4 years to even vote on something, but they're pushing laws and passing laws so fast. And not only that, like gun law, like who on earth would ever want to release or relinquish their gun, right? And then you got all these people pushing the agenda and the narrative. We don't need them. And then you got this empty seater or some manipulative prisoner that come out into the real world and shoot things up and then go hide again. Like, it's all a game. And then how in Florida they did the Baker Act. So, I'm going to celebrate a new shooting. So they had a shooting at the Chicago pizza place. They wanted to tear down the landing because the landing had monuments of the indigenous people going down the Riverwalk. Like, you could read about them. And then all of a sudden, they wanted to get rid of this mall at the riverfront, so they had a live shooting. Then 3 years later, they're going to say this guy under Baker Act went and shot up a Family Dollar in Jacksonville to celebrate the reunion of the death of the Chicago pizza. Now, how is that possible? Like, how did he get this assault rifle or whatever he got Those are empty seaters. They could be programmed, not empty seaters. They just could be programmed. And by him, it talked about that. He talked about a lot of people in these medical facilities, these prison camps, they already been implanted, and all they got to do is be either brainwash program or hit with a frequency, and then they just change on you.
Yep, they just receivers.
Yeah.
And when they put these pulses out into the the air, the algorithms is in tune with these folks. And I got a fun fact about Chicago. So one time my homie came stay with me and shit. He was staying in a certain part of Ohio with me, and he lost his place and whatnot or whatever. So I was like, yeah, you could come stay with me. He was from Chicago. I knew something was off about it because the way he looked, he just looked like he could have been a clone or an android. I ain't really trying to figure it all out because I ain't really versed in all that. I just know you ain't whatever I am, and I just leave it at that.
His vibratory rate was different than yours.
It was still everybody around me that was a little bit closer to me than he was picking up on it too. But anyway, one thing he was doing was, regardless if he was dark or not, he was in tune with the police. One time a disturbance happened inside of my apartment, and then the police showed up and came knocking on my door and shit. But they was really trying to fucking fuck with me, even though he was in there.
Yeah, he made you susceptible to the police frequency.
Yup. He was in there doing something to some female that he had in the room that I gave him and shit. And they was supposed to come in there and really try to like him up, but instead they used that to come fuck with me, because the apartment that I had was out in the suburbs anyway, and you already know they don't want people like me out that way. But that's not where I'm going with that, but I'm building up to it. So one day, when nobody there, it was just me and him, and he was talking about how Chicago is really just a military base pretending to be a city. And what they would do is they, took a whole bunch of different people and stuff and did that same little Anunnaki trick. So a lot of them people running around, demon time. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the military bases would literally take big ass brown crates and drop them off in the hood with all kinds of military weaponry. And because of those frequencies was in the air and those people were the way they was, they automatically knew what to do with those weapons.
Right, like the bricks they when they did New York. When they did all the businesses shutting down and the riots last year or at the beginning of the year, how all of a sudden they just had all the bricks, like a brick, like a carpent, like a truck just drop pallets of bricks off, so people could just start destroying the area.
And what's crazy about it is this is not something I'm making up. This really happened. Right. This is not a conspiracy that I just thought of. He told me this fucking shit. He told me this shit. So basically, sometimes these people, they get kept away from us because they do what he did. He was running them out, telling me shit I wasn't really supposed to know. But it's too late. I know now.
Right.
But I already suspected something was going on with Chicago anyway, because it just didn't make sense. Just like how you asked the same question. How do these motherfuckers get these weapons? It's like T.I. You know what I'm saying? T.I. got caught up in Cincinnati with them kind of weapons. We ain't dumb, nigga. You can't afford that shit. And even if you could, you don't have the authorization to have them because you don't have military clearance. So they gave them to you. And they staged all that shit to happen.
Well, they just want when they blow up something like that, they just want the public to know, or who needs to know, that the shit here now. So we gonna use this as a fall guy or agent, but this really what's in the neighborhood right now. So we just need y'all to know that. And then you got to think about Georgia or Atlanta, like, okay, this your people. Okay, this is what they bringing. He the fall guy up here, but really this what he already done brought to Georgia. You see what I'm saying?
And then when you look at Atlanta to this day, them is the type of toys they play with and the shit they talk about in their music.
Yeah, the way they did that stripper.
They wasn't doing that before that though, was it?
The way they did that stripper, I don't know what she did, but they was able to shoot up the whole Uber SUV, but they never shot the Uber driver. Now, that was weird.
And then another person, I think they was on the way to cloning him or getting him all the way up inside of the game. But he probably kept on moving too slick for them. So they ended up getting him out of here, and they used one of them to sacrifice him. And that's that rapper named Shorty Low.
Oh.
Yeah, Shorty Low. Same thing you said happened to the stripper. Same thing happened to him. He was on a highway headed somewhere. They found out what car he was in because he was the type of dude he'd switch cars up. He'd do a drop in a car, come back in a different car, and then ride around in the city in a totally different car. But I think his mistake was he always would use a driver. He would never drive. So you don't know who the fuck, you know what I'm saying, is telling on you and shit. Or who the fuck is a receiver, like that driver.
Or a receiver, because all they doing is piggybacking off they triangulating you. And they triangulate you through those people. That's why I explain that when you see people do the mechanical wink, they're not just winking with their eye. They're doing a mechanical wink that's out of their control. And it's like their eye is a lens, and it takes pictures of you. And it say, yeah, I spotted her here. By me being on the road, always in a truck, they always got to have somebody spot me in a location so they can keep up with me. You see what I'm saying?
There's two movies I want to talk about real quick. It's a movie that came out in the 80s, way before I was born. Not way before, but like a year or so. It's called The Brother from Another Planet. It's like it look like a real bootleg movie, but it's worth watching if anybody interested in it. At some point in that movie, I'm not gonna give away a whole lot, but he was able to take his eyeball out and place it, put it in places while he go do whatever he got to do. He'll come back to his eyeball, put it back in his fucking face, and this was a nigga. Put it back in his face, and then he'll hold his hand over his eye and see everything that happened for that day or however long he put his eye
that mechanical eyeball shit is real.
But then hold on. Then he got the Fast and Furious. You know, all them movies came out. Now later on, as the Fast and Furious started to die down, they started to get Tyrese and all them. They came out with one that had this. They was hacking shit, and they was able to connect to this thing called God's Eye. What is God's Eye? God's Eye is this thing where it connects to all the surveillance that exists anywhere. So that's my phone, that's your laptop, all the ones that's in the air and connected to everything. Like, so when people was looking for them and they was looking for other people, when they was searching for each other, they had to hack each other to try to like stop each other from seeing where they was at. And they can literally, like, somebody can just be walking down the street, some random motherfucker that got a phone. They was able to access that person's phone to see where you was at. Just like that, or just like the
that's why they got so many lenses on the back of the camera now, because you have different levels of intelligence watching through our phones now.
Yep. So when they was showing that God's Eye program on that movie, I already knew they was just mocking what's really going on out here in real life. So when we be going through all these little weird ass situations, getting pulled over by cops and they be having like chest cams on and dash cams on their car. Really, we can really take that footage and take it to court, but they be trying to make sure it's unauthorized for us to get, because then we can really show what really happened to get ourselves up out of trouble. They don't want to, you know, get themselves in trouble, because obviously we in some type of form of martial law situation. They're not saying it, but you can tell. And I wanted to go back to what you were saying about voting earlier. See, whether people get up, go out and vote, and they say they did or they didn't, these motherfuckers gonna make the laws go how they want it to go. Send them frequencies in the air, everybody gonna follow.
Yeah, just like the herd is just an illusion.
And then that's why they call it vote, because all this shit is about loose. Like, even though these people are these people and we who we are, all of us, whether we bad or good, empty seaters or with a spark, we all get used for loose. Even Mother Earth herself is getting used for her loose. That's why our motherfucking soil is being depleted. That's why we use gasoline. Now they trying to figure out how to dig up her other elements to put inside of these cars to use those in the batteries. Everything is being used for loose here. And they gonna use this motherfucker till this bitch die. And they gonna find another Earth and do the same shit to those motherfucking people. But the way they try to mask the word vote, they spell it VOTE. But really it's VOLT, like voltage.
Mm-hmm.
So when people do go out and they do want change, whatever little emotion that they got inside of them that produces the loose that they want. That's why they say, go out and vote, go vote. What they really saying is go spread that energy, get that loose up, people,
because
get it
you're
up,
in
get
your
it up.
emotions when you go vote anyway. You got something to
up,
prove.
people.
And then
they
when
can have a little slogans, vote or die.
right, and then when you vote and the person you want to win don't win, imagine how long they can loose feed off you.
Yep.
Because you're gonna be
That's
stuck
why,
in your feelings for like months or days or even years. You're just gonna be feeling like your whole world got ruined because the person you wanted in office didn't win.
and then before that and after that, the day that it comes to vote, they always got campaigns. So it's a lot of people there wasting their energy. And then after that, they might have a concert. Some rapper or comedian is coming to your city after that, and they they're gonna mention what happened. They're gonna say, "Hey, yeah, what's up, people, man? How y'all like that election?" Boom. And they gonna trigger them people, and then they have all these different little gatherings and events and shit that surround it before it happened and after, and probably during. Well, but that's crazy how they mask the word vote, though.
So let me ask you something. How many times have you been in a decent friendship and people just abandon you? Like no reason, they still in the same city, but they just abandon you. Like something turned them on and then something turned them off.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and when I was out there, everybody, we was kind of like on the same frequency. So, I don't know if you ever heard of Shahrazad Ali. She woke. She from there. I don't know if you heard of Bootsy Collins. He woke. He from there. Cat Williams. He lived out there for a short time. He was going back and forth from Cincinnati to Dayton. But anyway, we was bad little kids doing crimes and little shit because we was in poverty. But we was always woke for some reason. There's something in that water out there. So I can't say that I've been in that out there because we always kept a healthy distance from each other. We'd be cool with each other, but not so tight where we'll feel some kind of way where we'll get split up from each other and miss each other. So I like that energy out there. So now I'm about to lead us to Columbus. So I ended up moving out there with my family and shit. And now that place, everybody's so friendly when you first come out there. They want to know everything about you and they want to get close to you and invite you over their house and know your peoples and they do all this shit because years later I ended up finding out these people is off into that Freemason society stuff. They like getting insurance policies on each other and they want to get close to you so then they could probably take you the fuck out. So when you get like you don't know none of this stuff and you get like involved with a lot of these people, these things happen to you. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody would be in your life and you probably was like living kind of fucked up out there in that Columbus shit, but if both of y'all being around each other, y'all energy open up some kind of like portal or forms of protection around y'all and y'all able to get shit done. But these people belong to them kind of families that's off into all that occult shit. So they hit the button, boom, program them to get away from you. Now you back by yourself trying to play the figure it out game. So to me, it happened to me like at least 3 times when I was out there. But only on the 3rd time that I wake the fuck up and start really see what's going on. And then that's when I got the fuck up out that city. At first, I was more asleep than I am now, whatever you want to call that shit. So I thought that it was me. Because you know that saying that they say, everywhere you go, there you are. So you can go here, go there, go there. If you failing out here, you're going to fail everywhere you go the same way. When I got the fuck out of Columbus, I did not fail the way I was failing in Columbus. So I would have to say that saying only is viable to the motherfuckers who are NPC. If you got a spark, I feel like you might go through hurdles where motherfuckers is trying to sabotage you. But I don't believe that everywhere you go, you're going to fail. Because that environment is doing that to you, not you. Not all the time, but in most cases. And that's what it was with me. So hell yeah, I've experienced that shit.
And that's what I feel about the area I live in Jacksonville. Like, they were not worried about these niggas in this area, right? Like, at the beach, they had the cell phone towers, the 5G towers, the cloak trees, which are Ashira. But in my neighborhood, they didn't have it. Nowhere around in a 15-mile radius, they didn't have a cell phone tower, right?
Oh, man, and that feels so good when they not around.
Right, but as soon as I moved in, they seen that I was there to stay, they built the cell phone tower in a radius of less than a mile away from my house.
And then next thing you know, shit start changing, huh?
Right. Shit started changing. 2 years, a year and a half later, the pandemic came. And it was like every time I would come home, they would say, oh, you didn't get sick? You don't have a problem? No, I ain't been here. I ain't got hit with the frequency. But when I finally stayed home for like 2 weeks, I got hit with the frequency. But I realized that as soon as somebody come in my space in that area, all of a sudden they disappear.
The best way to explain that frequency for us, people who believe that we have the spark, not to say that we do or we don't, but they believe that shit, so I'm rolling with it. Superman, you know, he was only Superman on this planet, but on this planet, he was just a regular motherfucker. That's just all the abilities they had.
Mm-hmm.
But when he came here, he was Superman. So the same thing with our consciousness. If it's from outside of this realm, then they look at us somewhat like that. So to have these frequencies around us, it's the same thing how kryptonite is to Superman. You know, anybody who go around radiation or lead and shit like that, you know, it weakens you over time. And, you know, they producing that same type of frequency with us with these 5G towers and shit like that. Because when I get the fuck away from them and go in rural areas, man, I feel like I'm healing the fuck up. I swear I do.
Yeah.
I swear I do.
But you know something? We only got like 3 more minutes. I wanted to say this part. So I don't know if it was West Virginia or somewhere close around Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, but it was mountainous a little bit, like hills and valleys. And I kept saying, ooh, I should buy me land up here. You wouldn't believe what I saw. So I think the cell phone towers and the 5G towers have a problem triangulating to send out energy up high in mountains. These people driveways had forks in the road. So when you ride down the highway, you will see a driveway that split off 3 different ways, like there was 3 different households back there, right?
Yep.
But you wouldn't believe what was at the split of the fork in the road. They had miniature, human-sized, maybe 20 feet tall at the, not even 20 feet, about 10 feet tall at the most, cell phone signal radiation frequencies right there in their driveway. Big. They were not electrical transformers. This was something to send out cell phone signals or something. But, and I realized that, I said, wow. So since the frequency can't reach these, they must have been very powerful people, and they had no clue that they thinking they getting a better signal for their area or for their neighbors, but why would they personally put that in all of their forks in the driveway? So as you go down the road, you'll see another driveway that split off in 3 different directions and so on, and they all had this big cell phone transformer sitting right there in the driveway.
Well, I could definitely tell you where you was at. You was in West Virginia. Because in West Virginia, I don't give a fuck what phone company you got. You're going to lose your signal when you go out there.
There's one more thing I wanted to say before I quit, because it's about to go off. Okay. How about when they put that 5G tower up in the neighborhood, I still don't have no cell phone signal in my house. My mother don't have no cell phone signal in her house. I ain't got no cell phone signal in my house. So what exactly...
Yeah, exactly, because it's not a tower for your cell phone.
It's not a tower for your cell phone. It's a weapon. Right. It is a weapon. Still, Verizon has no pull in that part of town at all. Like I be stuck at 1 bar, 2 bar. If I get 3 bars, I must be outside. But in the home, I don't have over 2 bars in my home. So
the 5G is to ensure whatever agenda they got going on remains, energetically possible.
Right. So they're saying we're bringing 5G to your area, but they're really not bringing 5G to your area. They're bringing weapons to your area.
Yep. Exactly.
So we're going to leave it here for now. I will share your channel on this upload. I will upload this immediately.
No problem.
Immediately, yeah. But I like saying the other word. But yeah, I sure appreciate it. We will do more videos like this if you like it. But yeah, people need to know about the empty seaters. They need to understand that people are programmed. So it's out of people's control. A lot of people, especially when you don't know you're under that type of surveillance, it's completely out of your control. You just think it's fate.
It got you questioning yourself, like something wrong with you, and it ain't always that all the time.
Right. Exactly. So there we have it. Unearth the magic. The truth will definitely set you free. Mwah.